Hello, everybody. Welcome to this month's Generation Change, our monthly fireside chat with leaders, change makers, movers, and shakers around the world. Whether you're a regular or you're just joining us for the first time, it's great to have you, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Anna Shpak, and I'm president of Generation Female. We are a nonprofit association that aims to empower and support all women leaders in their personal and professional capacities through a range of events and conferences, such as this one. We are also building a global community of women and allies in the hope of raising awareness and providing access to useful content and contacts. And if you are not already part of our network, you can easily sign up for free at generationfemale.net. This is our fifth episode of Generation Change. We started this monthly series late last year to shine a spotlight on inspiring role models from all over the world and tap their insight on their respective areas of expertise, as well as their personal experience. We like to keep conversation intimate and interactive, as well as useful and relevant to those of you tuning in. So we always set aside time at the end of our conversation to answer your question. If you are joining the live stream on our website, please post your question in the comments section, which you can see below. Or if you're watching via YouTube, you can also post your questions there. We definitely will be sure that we have time, come back and answer your question. Today, we are very honored to be hosting Francesca Fossatelli, who is joining us from London, United Kingdom. Francesca is currently Vice President, Structuring and Solution, Gold Grain Capital, but most excitingly, she has just been named as one of Forbes 30 under 30 for Italy. Well, hello, Francesca, and welcome to Generation Change. So first of all, congratulations with your award. How does it feel to be named one of the 30 under 30 on Forbes Italia?
So thank you very much, Anna, and thanks to Generation Female for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here, and being on the 30 under 30 of Forbes for Italy feels great. I feel very lucky, especially because I was nominated in the finance category, which is a quite traditional sector, and I am the only woman which was nominated in this category. So I'm really proud of this achievement, and it demonstrates that I actually managed to leave a footprint in my sector.
So for those of you who are new to Generation Female, Francesca actually first joined us as a speaker for our Generation Female Global Summit back in September last year. And her career as a woman leader in the finance space has really grown even further since then. We are so happy, Francesca, for you. And I think Francesca truly embodies a new generation of trailblazing, change-making women leaders whose successes we want to continue to support and amplify. So, Francesca, I would like to give you the floor to introduce yourself and maybe share with our audience all the wow achievements you have accomplished.
Sure, thank you very much. So I was born in Umbria, and after high school, I moved to Milan to study economics and finance. And after the bachelor, I enrolled in the Master of Science in Finance and got a major in Quantitative Finance. While I was studying, I started working as an intern for BNP Paribas in Milan on the desk of structured products, which is the field I'm still working on. Then, after the graduation, I decided to move to Frankfurt to join Vontobel investment banking as an intern. There, I was very lucky because I joined a small team. It was just, let's say, me and my boss. And my boss at the time, just 6 months after I joined the bank, decided to change division. So when I was only 26, I managed to convince my boss to sponsor me to become responsible for the Italian market. I did some interviews and then I was nominated responsible for the Italian market. And I gave my best for 3 years and I got great achievements. When I joined Vontobel, the bank had a turnover on listed products of 1 billion. And when I left, it ended up with more than 2 billions. And if we think at the market share, we went from 5% to 15%. So of course, due to my performances, I started getting some job offers. So I decided to move forward with my career. And this year, I joined Goldgrain Capital in London, which is a boutique best in class for structured products. And there I have the role of Vice President Structuring and Solutions. And I actually met the founder of Goldgrain Capital during the Generation Female Global Summit last year. So I'm really grateful to this event for the connection. And addition to the job I have in Goldgrain Capital, I also started this year my own company, which is Free Finance. I launched the website freefinance.beats, which is a free and independent website with no advertisement at all. And it's a website that promotes financial education for retail and professional investors. And in the meantime, I'm also writing a book on structured products together with a trader, Gabriele Belelli, which will be published by Apple. So quite a lot of things are going on.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Again, I think you are a great example of how to take advantage of opportunities at tap on networks and make the most out of the challenges that it throws our way. I think my favorite part of your story definitely is also how you connected with Goldgrain Capital at the Generation Female Global Summit 2020. And look where that connection has brought you. It really goes to show how important and great community network is. So, all right, let's talk about women in finance and being women in the finance industry. It's one of the industries which is well known for being male dominating, and it's not a secret at all, and boys club, I would say, very Wolf of Wall Street. And yet you have certainly charted a very impressive path in this space, facing all these biases and challenging head on. So tell us more about your experience when you first started your career in the finance industry. Was it challenging? What were some of the main challenges? If yes, was some main challenges you faced?
So there are so many challenges I faced. If you read my CV, it seems quite easy and linear, but it was quite challenging. It was a challenging journey, I would say. So if I think at the main challenges, I can clearly think of 2 moments of my career in which I had to take, let's say, unpopular decision. So the very first moment was at the beginning of my career. I decided to start my first internship in investment banking when I was at the beginning of the second year, so the last year of my master. So I was still studying and I had few exams left to do. I was working in investment banking, so I had to work full time, at least 11, 12 hours per day, fully concentrated. And I was actually living also far from the office. I was living near university, so it used to take a while also to get the public transport and get home. And I was really tired at the end of a working day, and I really needed to study. And to find an internal motivation to do it. So I did my last exams, studying actually during my holidays at work. And after the exams, I needed to deliver my thesis in 4 weeks. Otherwise, I would have to pay additional university fees. So delivering a thesis like in Bocconi in 4 weeks in quantitative finance, it's almost impossible, even if you dedicate 100% of time to just the thesis. But it was completely impossible if I had to work in investment banking while writing the thesis. So I asked to have additional vacation, but it was not possible. So I had to take my first big decision. I had to choose between keeping my job, which was an internship, but with potential, or finishing with success my academic path and get a good grade. I chose the degree. So I resigned. I did my thesis in 4 weeks, and I got the maximum grade. Then I got the job in Vontobel. So actually it was an unpopular choice, but was great for my career. And this is the first moment. Second moment was last year, when I decided to quit a job in a big bank where I had an open-end contract, a responsibility role, and I decided to quit it for a job in a small company. When I told my parents and relatives, They all were shocked. They didn't understand the decision to pass basically from a big bank to a small company, especially during the pandemic, when every single job is riskier. But I think actually the pandemic was quite revealing for everybody. It made us think about what is really important in our lives. And the pandemic made me realize I was not happy. I know how to do my job and I love to do it, but I felt I was going in the wrong direction. I was moving in the direction of caring more about the interests of the bank rather than the interests of my client. And I was not feeling happy for that. And I just wanted to make the interests of my clients with no filters. So I wanted just to be happy to go to work once again, to do like the best for a good reason, which is to make my client richer and not the bank, or more precisely the shareholders of the bank. So I resigned, and this was the best decision I could ever made, because now I can dedicate all my time to, and all my energy, all my creativity, all my ideas to my client. And this makes me feel really happy. So it's another unpopular decision, but with good results.
Well, Francesca, from your point of view, is it especially difficult for women to build careers in banks?
I think it is. I tell you this. So a good friend of mine who is working in finance, and so he knows the environment and the sector, last year told me something I can never forget. He told me, I never believed it was so difficult for a woman to succeed in finance till I experienced all such struggles together with you. This, I think, sums up how difficult it is for a woman to build a career in the financial industry, and how difficult it is to understand it if you don't experience directly. And we can analyze also the difficulty looking at women in senior roles. I met so many seniors in finance, and I think we can split them into groups. The ones who didn't listen and the ones who listen. And I explain to all of you what I mean with that. So there are the first group, the ones who listen, which are the ones who were very happy to work at the beginning of their career. Probably they started an entire businesses or an entire division, or even brought the most important client of the banks. But after a few years of working in the financial industry, they started not to be happy, not to perform that well any longer, not because they are not brilliant, but just because they listened to the environment, telling them they were not good enough, they didn't deserve a better position, they didn't deserve an increase in their salary, and they accepted it. And then there is the second group, the second ones, the ones who didn't listen, which are very few, and are the ones who are called the sharks, because they were so keen to do something that they fought with all their strengths to reach it, to reach their objectives, and they actually made it. And they are not necessarily the ones in key management position, but they are the ones who are fighting for us, who are fighting also to change the sector.
Yeah, on a more optimistic note, many legacy firms and large organizations are increasingly working on changing their mindset and prioritizing improving diversity, inclusion, and equity. So do you think there are any quick fixes companies can take to better address the issues at hand, or if it will be a tough and long journey ahead to achieve real change?
I think there can be quick fixes. So most of the issues which are faced by women remain silenced because women have generally no voice in banks. Most of the members of the boards, CEOs, and also key management positions are filled by men. So men never experience such difficulties, such biases, and in my opinion, it's really difficult for them to understand it. So the friend of mine said exactly that. So a quick fix, in my opinion, would be to have more women in key management position, because they are the only ones who can really understand the issue, who can really face it and solve it. So a quick fix would be to have more women in key management position, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, at the end of the day, there is really no end point in diversity and inclusion. It's really just a starting point to try and achieve genuine and lasting change. But I think companies are increasingly realizing that there is a both a moral and a business case to improving diversity and inclusion. It is the right things to do, or certainly to try to do, for all of us as individuals and as leaders. And I'm very, very glad that studies have now shown that it also improves business resilience. Well, sir, and speaking of the business case, a study published in 2020 by Goldman Sachs found that 48% of female managed funds outperformed from the market lower in March to August. So compared with 37% for all male funds. Funds managed by females also held up better in the COVID-19 market meltdowns that hit the bottom in March. Do you think, in spite of all the male banker and masculine environment stereotypes, that women are actually better suited to a career in the finance industry than men?
So I think a job generally has no gender. It really relies on the skills, on the competencies, on the creativity also of the person. But I think it's reasonable that women perform better as an asset managers because the few which arrived in key positions are probably the more qualified than they are the most qualified, maybe even overqualified, but generally more qualified than their peers. And this is due to the gender selection bias. So with the gender selection bias, basically, if you have two candidates, two colleagues with the same profile, same skills, in Latin, like also in maths, we say ceteris paribus. So if you have two equal profile, the male candidate will be selected for a job, for a promotion, or even for a salary increase. This is because people tend to match performances and results with the male candidate. So we as women start basically with a disadvantage. With the gender selection bias, we are disadvantaged. So the ones who manage to succeed and get, for example, a key management position are necessarily the ones who overperform their peers.
Yeah, you have worked, Francesca, in a large multinational organization, and now in a smaller and amazing boutique firm. Is a model better at serving client needs?
I think it depends on the personality also of the person who is working in large or either small organization. When I was graduating, all the students of my class wanted to work in a big company, in a big bank. And at the very beginning, I thought I wanted the same. So I just wanted to work for a big bank with a good standing, having a nice role, an open-end contract, and just doing business. And I got it. I got it actually at 26, so quite fast. But then I realized I wanted something more. I wanted to fully express my potential. I wanted to go to work and be happy. And that was not possible in a bank because I realized that actually my personality didn't fit in. I am a creative person, which has many ideas, and I want to implement different things, different ideas, and I want to innovate. And traditional environments sometimes are not ready for too many changes. So it's really difficult if you are a creative person. And in addition, when you work in a large multinational organization, even if you make the difference, that difference is not noticed. So it's very difficult to keep yourself motivated during years, in my opinion. So to answer fully to your questions, I think actually smaller firms is better at serving clients' needs. When I was working in banks, the bank was paying my bill, was paying my salary. So I had to match the needs of the bank and the needs of the client. And I had to find an equilibrium between the two. Now I operate in the only interest of my clients. So for sure, I can deliver better service. So my answer is a smaller firm.
So now you're also the founder of Free Finance. So not only vice president, but also founder of Free Finance. Tell us more about what inspired you to set this up and what your experience has been like being the founder of your company.
Yeah, so basically I wanted to create something able to eliminate information asymmetry between private and professional investors. So I thought the only way to eliminate that asymmetry was that professional investors share their views with private investors without any marketing filter. So in a totally independent environment. So I built up the website freefinance.biz. I created all the educational sections and then I spoke to some traders and professional investors and asked them to join me in this journey. And they were so kind to do it. So then private investors joined the website. And now on the website, more or less every week, we have more than 6,000 returning users. So, and we launched the website not even 2 months ago. So it's a big achievement, in my opinion, also for the sector in which I'm working. And being the founder of a company is great because I can make the strategic decision and the company will follow my strategy. I can have ideas and implement it right away, immediately. So it's quite amazing because, as I said before, like in big banks, in large organizations, sometimes it's really difficult to implement your ideas. It can take 10 years to implement an idea, which actually you can build up in 2 months. So it's amazing when the company is yours and you can build up everything in few months or in few weeks. And I'm really lucky. I feel really lucky to know how it feels like.
Yeah, that's true. So, well, do you think that artificial intelligence and algorithms will one day take the place of financial hubs like London and New York City and put bankers and brokers and most of the finance industry out of a job? Would you say so?
To be honest, I don't think so. So many banks are investing in technological projects, in technology in general, in order to substitute people with machines. But the point is that machines can analyze data, can perform a given instruction, can create, like, for example, artificial intelligence can create from something that never been before, but they create always near the data and near the instructions they were given by the coder, basically. So machines at the moment are not yet creative enough to make products or services able to anticipate the demand of the client. They can only respond after. So only people, especially smart people, I would say, can do it. And therefore, I think we won't have any issue till machines will be creative enough to substitute us. In addition, in finance, the relationship with clients is really important. And I think it's important not at the point of sale. So when you basically decide which is the product that fits the needs of the clients, but after sales, especially if something goes wrong. And in this case, I think clients do want to speak with a person and they need to trust that person. And also they need to trust what that person is saying. So it's impossible, in my opinion, that machines can take over this role. And it's impossible to cut this kind of profession in the banking industry. And it's impossible also to cut the good people, in my opinion.
So nothing can replace talented people and very good service.
That's true.
Yes, that's correct. So, all right, enough about the finance industry for now. So with generation change, we always like to also find out more about your personal journey and outlook. So I'm going to shift gears. You have been not only building your career, but also you have been moving from one country to another. How was your move to London, especially in the middle of a global pandemic?
I have to say it was quite challenging, to be honest. I was moving with also some furnitures, and the English variant of coronavirus was found out actually when I was doing the moving with all my furniture and everything. So it was not easy because I had to change all my schedules. But I made it. So actually, if you want to make something, even during the pandemic, even during Brexit, you can do it.
Yeah. Any tips or maybe lessons you have learned from moving to different countries and working in different countries? And also, how do you adapt and cope with both a new work environment and living in a different country?
I think that actually, basically, if you speak the language and the country you're moving in is quite international, it's quite easy to start working in another country. So for me to move to London was very easy. I feel immediately at home here. On the other side, it's difficult if you move to a country with a strong culture and if you don't speak the language. When I moved to Germany, I didn't speak German and not even a word, to be honest. And so I didn't understand the language, and I couldn't understand what was going on near me. It was difficult also to go out for shopping sometimes. So my suggestion and what I take with me is that if you want to move to a country, choose the country in which you more or less understand 50% of the conversation. It will be really useful also to fit in from a cultural perspective. And there might be sometimes cultural barriers, especially at the beginning. But in any case, I think after a few months, which of course are the most challenging, it's easy to feel when there is a cultural barrier and how you can interact properly, also from a social perspective, not crossing red lines.
So you really make it look easy, but it's definitely not a smooth sailing path to achieve all that you have accomplished personally and professionally. So Francesca, how do you stay motivated when the going gets tough or when life throws you complete curveball like a pandemic?
It's a very good question. I think the key is to believe in yourself. So I doubt about myself when I think I need to develop in a particular area or in a particular task. And this is healthy because it keeps my mind active and it makes me work on myself. But I never doubted about myself because others made me do it. In most of my careers, people tried to make me think I was too young to do something, not enough experience to do something. I was not old enough, even like from an age perspective, to take responsibility. But I never believed them. I just followed the internal voice, which was saying to me, I was born to succeed. There is no other option, but you have to succeed. And so what I take with me is that actually, if you believe in yourself and don't make others doubt it about yourself, this is the key to keep yourself motivated, to keep yourself active, and to succeed actually.
So Francesca, talking about yourself, how would you describe your own leadership philosophy, or maybe when leadership means when it really means to you?
So to me, leadership means to be able to make people to see your objective, to share your view, and also to make them to join the journey together with you to that objective. And in order to do it, you have to respect all the stakeholders, so clients, colleagues, business partners. You have to help them to succeed, and you have also to share your personal success with all of them. And this is how I managed to create Free Finance with professionals which are way more experienced than me. And when the website went online, people started calling me, asking, how did you convince this author to participate to free finance. And they always said, I simply showed them the view, the objective. They shared it and they joined the project. Seems easy, but it's not, because you have to have a very important objective to make people see it and to make them share the journey together with you.
So 2020 has been a great year for you, for really, as well as 2021 is still a wow for you. You are a founder of Free Finance and Vice President Gold Green Capital. And of course, you are in Forbes Italia 30 under 30. So Francesca, what is the next for you and any other plans or other goals you hope to achieve?
Of course, I have my objective and I'm working on different projects, but I don't think I can share more because I need the first mover advantage in order to make it successful. So I cannot share it, but yeah, I have a lot of projects going on and I have the biggest objective that I wanted to reach.
Wow. I'm so curious, but okay. And my personal last question before we are moving to a question from our audience. Any last advice for other young women looking to embark on a career in the finance industry? Anything you wish you had known before you started out?
Yes. So first thing is to be humble, because when you start your career, you have to do nothing else but learn. So my advice is to try to work as much as possible in order to see and improve on different tasks, on different things and different areas also. And I think you have to be always available for anybody because they will remember it. Somehow they will help you out to succeed even in the future. And a second advice might be not to take anything for granted. Even if you have good results, it doesn't mean you will get a bonus. It doesn't mean you will get a promotion. It doesn't mean you will get a salary increase. So you have to be patient and plan a strategy in order to reach your objectives. A third advice can be also to create your own opportunities, because it's very difficult that opportunities comes out for you. So you have to create it yourself. I did it, for example, for Free Finance. You have to create your own opportunity. I think it's the best advice I can give to all of you. And also invest and believe in yourself, and don't doubt about yourself and your skills. And the last one is to find your objective, that the ones, let's say, that makes you happy, and never change the direction. So go straight to it, even if the decision or the strategy seems unpopular. Go to find it, find your objective, and then go for it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Francesca. I think it's really very helpful, but you cannot even imagine how many questions we have from our audience. I would like to share with you. So, okay, as a first question, you mentioned wanting to be on our client side without filter. What do you mean by that? Can you please explain more? How do you do that? Thank you for this great question.
Thank you very much for the question. So basically, when you work for the client, you can make even sometimes either the interest of the client, that's all. And that's when the client pays for you directly for an advice, for a management of products, for example, in my case, for structuring products. But in sometimes, for example, working for banks, client is paying the bank, which is paying you. So actually, you make the interest of the client in the end, but you have to make also the interest of the bank. And this sometimes might not be, let's say, in equilibrium. So it might be difficult for you also to say, I'm doing 100% the interest of my clients, because actually you're working for a bank, and the bank relies on the views of the shareholders. So you have to make the shareholders happy, to be honest, not the client. And that's what I didn't like about working in a bank, especially large banks, because even if you want to build up for something for clients, sometimes it's very difficult because you have to take care and take into consideration the interests of the banks. So I wanted to remove that sort of filter and go directly to the interests of my clients.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Francesca. And next question, great question. Can you tell me how freefinance.biz works? Can I post my ideas there?
Yeah, sure. So basically, freefinance.biz is an open space where professionals can post their own ideas. It's not completely open because the idea behind Free Finance is that we want all experienced and professional people to write the contents, or let's say to produce also, for example, webinars and educational content. So in this case, not everybody can write on Free Finance. There's a filter, which is the professional filter. And there is also a filter, which is there shouldn't be any marketing activity in that, because we know in finance, I've known it because I know it because I've worked for a bank. Basically in finance, every single product is marketed. So, and removing the marketing filters make it looks really independent, and actually it is an independent content only if you have no marketing filter. So if you have no marketing filter and you are a professional, I'm really happy to publish you. Absolutely.
So we are moving next question. Very inspiring. How can you build up a career in a large institution as a woman?
This is a very good question. So I think the first step is to build up your skills and competencies, as always. Then when you are working in a large institution, there are processes. So fixed steps of the career, and it's really difficult to skip a step. This is normal in large institutions. So you have to understand which is the process, which are the steps to make your career, and you have to make a plan on how to reach it. Share the plan together with your boss, telling him or her which is your objective, how do you want to make it, and how do you want to reach this kind of position, this kind of salary, this kind of bonus. And that part is really important because until you don't communicate properly to your boss, to the boss of your boss, or can be also to your colleagues or business partners, that you want to reach that objective till, I don't know, X years, or you want to get that bonus, that salary, nobody knows it. So you have to communicate it. This is really important in large institutions. And once the plan is clear and the objectives are communicated properly, you have just to stick to the plan. And in my opinion, something can go wrong. So if something goes wrong, you have to understand if the issue is on the organization side or on the plan. So if the plan was wrong, of course, you have to change the plan and adapt it basically to reach the objective. But if it was on the organization, you have to change the organization, in my opinion. There is no other solution. So either changing the plan or changing the organization if something goes wrong. Otherwise, you can be happy and you reach the objective.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we're moving to another very great question. So besides gender selection bias in the lack of women in top position in finance, do you think women also tend to be less confident about their abilities and have more of an imposter syndrome?
This is an amazing question, and I think it's really targeted, to be honest. I think yes. But I think it's, as I said before, it's on the environment side. So this kind of problem is created by the environment. So sometimes you are really good at your job. As I said, I met so many people that started basically the business in finance. They started entire divisions, they created platforms, they brought the biggest clients. But after maybe 10 or 15 years, you see them and they are sort of, I would say, not happy. They don't feel happy about the job. They don't feel motivated. And it's not because they are not brilliant, because maybe 10 years ago they started the business. It's just because they are trying to start doubting about their abilities, and they feel the imposter syndrome, because sometimes when a woman is really good, it's scary for others, and it's normal. It can be also for a male, sure, but it's even worse, I think, for females. So it's caring for all the colleagues, it's caring maybe for the bosses, and sometimes everyone says, okay, you got this idea, but I improved it, so now it's my idea. But it's not like that. So we really need to be aware of our skills, of what we are doing, of our performances, and stand our point and say, okay, no, I made it. I got the idea, and I have to get the results. I had to get the performances. So that's what I was saying before. Never doubt about yourself. If it is because for someone else, just doubt about yourself because you're feeling you have to improve something, but not because somebody else tell you so, because this is a very challenging environment for women, and we have to really stick and be strong for us, and be strong also for all the women that will go in this career in the years after.
Yeah, I do agree. We have another question, which is a bit private one. Are there any other cities or countries you would like to move to and try living in at some point?
It's a very good question. So after the moving few months ago, I would say no, I don't want to move anymore, actually. But I don't know, to be honest. So I never choose a job because of the location, to be honest. So I choose the job just because I liked it, even if it was, I don't know, in Singapore or whatever. I don't mind about the location. So I think somebody minds about the location, but it was not me. So when I moved to Germany, as I said, I didn't speak one word of German. It was very tough at the very beginning. But yeah, now it's easier because I'm UK, so I speak English and it's easier for me. I don't know. So I'm really open about my future. As I said, I always take unpopular decisions, so it's okay for me to change also country.
Thank you, Francesca. We're moving to another great question. Hi, Francesca. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. Did you always want to work in finance? How and when did you realize that this was the industry you wanted to be in?
So actually not. At the very beginning, I started to study economics and finance. So it was more focused on economics. But when I was at the bachelor, I found out derivatives. So I really wanted to work in a derivatives sector because I liked the product. And then since then, basically, I specialized myself on derivatives. So for sure, I knew I would have worked in finance. But at the very beginning, for example, when I was in high school, I was really good at physics and maths. So all my teachers wanted me to go to other university, not to take economics. So it was not that easy. It was, I think, even by chance sometimes, because you find something that you like. For example, I decided to go to take the economics in bachelor, the bachelor in economics, just because I liked economics. So I just did 1 hour course, and this chose my path. It was quite by chance, in my opinion. But still, if you like it, I think you will find what you like, and you will actually get more experienced on what you like, because it's easier for you. It doesn't, it's not that heavy to do it. So yeah, it was actually by chance.
So another question, what are your tips for standing out amongst your peers and differentiating yourself compared to other candidates?
This is a really good question. I would say hard work. So it's something which seems quite easy, which is not. Basically, for example, when I was at university, after all the classes, I used to attend also conferences on many different areas. So I do remember once I went to a car conferences. I don't even have my driving license, so really. But yeah, I think you can try to get inspired. And if you get inspired, you know so many things that then this makes you actually stand out from your peers, because whatever we are talking about, I've known something, and this is very useful. And then for sure, you have to specialize in something. I think this is the key, because for me also to find a job was quite easy because I was specialized in derivatives. So there are not so many people who choose the quantitative finance path. So I would say if you put 100 on the finance students, I think less than 10% choose quantitative finance. So it was quite easy. If they are looking for a quantitative role, it's easy to find a job if you are specialized. And this is, in my opinion, really important. Also to make an unpopular decision makes you stand out when someone is looking for that particular position.
Yeah, I do agree. I think I feel like I'm the same. Well, we are moving to another an amazing question. You are a great inspiration. How would you mentor? Are you available in Generation Female Network?
Absolutely, absolutely. I actually let's say during the last 3 years, I met so many young students, female or male, and I helped them, for example, during the thesis or also to choosing their careers. So absolutely, I'm available also in Generation Female Network. Happy to help you however I can. As I said, I'm always very available. This is also the key to succeed, in my opinion. So I'm really happy to help every one of you. Absolutely.
Thank you, Francesca. So you cannot imagine how many questions we were having. Let's pick another one. What is your advice for a perfect job interview to overcome the gender gap judgment you told us before?
So this is a really difficult question. Because I've actually attended so many conferences about it, because I was really worried at the beginning, because during like my master, in my classes, they were all males. So I was the only woman in my classes sometimes. So I was really afraid of the gender gap. I think is by preparation. So to be honest, you have to be more prepared than the others. I don't think it's just something you can do, like fix your hair somehow or change your desk somehow. It's just the preparation. So if you are more prepared than the others, even to be more aggressive or more motivated than the others, they will pick up you. Because what I noticed, because I've done also some interviews for looking for the interns to males and females. And what I noticed is that sometimes males are less motivated in finance. So I think the motivation is the key for us. So if we really want to stand out, we have to demonstrate we are more motivated, we are more available, because sometimes this is the lack of the male candidates. So this is a good tip in my opinion.
Okay, so next fantastic question. Buongiorno. Did you notice gender inequality is different based on the country or culture?
I think yes, actually. So I would say in finance is more or less the same, but it's based also on the culture. So basically, for example, I make a clear example. In Germany, when a woman has children, they tend to stop their job. So of course, for them, might be difficult also to decide to hire a woman in a leadership position, because they might think, okay, if she has children, she might stop working. She might quit her job, and then I have to replace her somehow. So it's also based on, let's say, the statistics of that particular country or on the culture. I think it's the same in Italy. So more or less it's the same. You think, okay, if she's a woman and she's 30, she might have children. So I'm not sure if I want her, because maybe I have to replace her. But this is the point. In my opinion, even when we are doing an interview, we can tell them. So I think the key is the communication. So we can tell them, even if one day I will have a baby, I will still focus on my job because I'm really motivated. This is easy. We can tell them. Because sometimes if we, I think it's really important in an interview to find out which can be the fears that block the HR to hire you, or let's say the business person to hire you, find out which are the fears and respond to them and clear everything up. So
Correct.
it's based on the culture, but we can fix it.
Yeah, but also I would add from my side, and based on my experience, in many countries, I saw and I met this bias on to hire male rather than female just because probably she can go on maternity or leave, and which is what is life is showing that sometimes men can leave quickly and quit the job just to build a career, or if doesn't like to do anything. So maybe it's more stable to hire woman rather, so to give opportunity, and she will be really grateful to build a career, even to take some break for maternity or for the kids. Yeah. So, well, next question, fantastic one. It seems you are working 24/7. How do you manage your work-life balance?
So it
So
seems
good question.
actually, it's not only it seems, but yeah. So I'm working a lot of hours, and the thing is not that I'm actually just working for hours. I'm working fully concentrated, so sometimes I'm really tired. I might look tired as well, but I think actually I managed to, let's say, work somehow and also have a personal life. I think I get the most of the personal life in the weekend. But I think it's really good if you're doing something you like, something you love, because I don't feel at work, to be honest. So if I have to do something during Saturday or Sunday, it's okay for me, because I don't feel it's like work. Even now even more, I would say, because now I have my own company. If I have to do something, even when I am on vacation, I don't feel I'm working, just because I like my job.
Yes, plus you're enjoying your.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the best work-life balance you can have if you really want to do something big. You have to work. It's not like an 8-hour work that you can have. You have to be concentrated, and you have to bring ideas. Sometimes the best ideas I have it on Sunday, because I'm relaxed and I get the flow done and I have the ideas. So it's normal, but as I said, if you like the job, it's not a job.
Yeah, also, you know that one famous person say the best ideas was born in shower. So
yeah, it's absolutely.
Okay, so we're moving to another very good question. Did you ever find that a woman manager was trying to block you? Sometimes it seems that girls are not bonding in professional life.
This is true. So I wouldn't say most of the times was a woman, but there are a lot of women who were trying to block me to succeed. So yeah, sure, women are not bonding in professional life. This is true, especially in finance. But not everyone is like that. So I think also it's like you try to bond with people in general. So if you say to yourself you are the best ones in the room, and you go there with that idea, of course maybe a woman that might be your boss, for example, feel not comfortable with you. I don't know, it might be also the way you present yourself to the others. So in my opinion, the key is, if you are always available, always nice with everybody, also women and men, maybe it's, let's say, less likely that they will try to block you. But as I said, I'm I'm a really available person. I'm always, I think, nice with people, but there were a lot of people who were trying to block me, because when you do good performances, not everyone likes it, because of course you are setting a higher standard, and this is not good for colleagues, cannot be good also for bosses, cannot be good for competitors, cannot be good for a lot of people, and they will try to block you. So, and then you have to react somehow. And that cannot be, I doubt about myself and I said, okay, maybe it was my fault. No, it's not like that. So you have to know what you're doing, which are your performance, which is your value, and then you have to move on. And you, of course, you have to try to bond with everybody, but you will not bond to everybody. Not everybody will like you, and that's okay. You have to accept it. It's like in life.
Yeah, we have so much to do on diversity, equality, and inclusion. And I think that really diverse and mixed team can bring even more success. It's just a matter of time. And we have another question about mixed team. Mixed team deliver best results. From your experience as a leader, tell us more about how working in teams is like for you and your approach.
Yeah, so I really like to work in teams, especially because generally with one brain, you have some ideas, but with more brains, you can have thousands of ideas every day. So I really like to work in team, and I really try to empower also people. When I was working in Vontobel, I used to have an intern together with me in the team. And I was trying always to make him learn or her learn, or also to empower him with clients, to do other kind of activities. And I think it's really important, even if you are the boss or if you have some of your colleagues. So sometimes, for example, with colleagues, I was sharing, I don't know, conferences, and I was asking them to join me for a date out, or a conference or an event out, just because I think you have to share. When you have success, you have to share it, and when you are in trouble, you have to try to find it out yourself first. But of course, if you have a team behind you, it's really important. So I really like working in teams. Now, for example, at Gold Green Capital, we are a very good team of people. I can ask for help every time I need it. And this is really important, because the day you are not, let's say, at your best, your team can help you out. Your team can get the motivation for you. Your team can maybe have an idea that solves one of your problems that you couldn't solve yourself. So it's really important to have it.
Yeah, from my side, I can add, because I was studying for our interview, I was studying Golden Gate Capital as a company. And I found out that it's a perfect match of diverse team. So completely diverse professional. And I was really so impressed and surprised how you can collaborate all together and bring such a lot of success. Okay, so move to the business. How do you deal with difficult or unreasonable clients?
This is a good question. I would say I never had an unreasonable client. I don't know if I was really lucky, but I had clients who, I don't know, were shouting at the phone, for example, not because of me, but because of other things, because they might be. So the point is, clients are human. So sometimes they might be aggressive because something happened to them. So you don't have to take it personally. And you have, sometimes I say to myself, I'm like a psychology for my clients. So sometimes when I feel they are maybe too aggressive, I get there is something behind it. So I ask them, is there something that happened to you that makes you feel not so good? Something like that. So sometimes even speaking to clients and make them realize they are too aggressive in a nice way, for sure, not telling you're aggressive, but in a nicer way, make the client not to be unreasonable or difficult any longer, because they are people and they understand what is going on. They understand everything if you explain it to them. So I think there are not unreasonable clients, or maybe I just was lucky enough not to have them.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best tips which our audience can write down, that if you have client with a challenge, maybe it's nothing about you, just have a look what is behind, and maybe it's even will help you more. Well, another about business question, if we can talk about markets, do you have a view on the current situation as the market ahead versus the real economy?
This is a very good question, and it's a question that I always ask to my clients, which are way more experienced than me. So basically, I think it's a very difficult situation. At the moment, we are seeing signs of a correction in the market, but the correction is not coming. So I'm really afraid, to be honest, that there will be a correction because most of the time I'm long with my products, also with the product I buy for my own portfolio. So I'm really afraid of a correction. I do structured products. So basically I do products with a barrier. So basically they get a capital protection if their barrier is not hit. So basically at the moment with most of my clients, I'm suggesting to do products with a really deep barrier. So if a correction is coming, they don't have this kind of correction. So they don't, basically, they are not linear with the correction together with the market. And I think this is really important. So also in this moment of uncertainty, it's impossible to edge, it's possible, and also it's wise to edge the risk with structured products or non-linear product. I think this is really important in this moment. And I think structured products will be even more popular if there is a second correction. Like it was in March, with the first correction, there was a lot of investments in structured products. And I think it will be the same, because actually having a barrier that covers you up if something happens, it's really important in this period.
Yeah. Thank you, Francesca. And the last question, which we are picking from YouTube. Thank you for sharing your experience. I was wondering what your vision on free finance is. Are you planning on expansion?
Sure. So always planning on expansion. But yeah, so basically the idea of free finance is an open space. But in order to have signals, in order to have all the professionals there, it needs to be expanded. And I think in 2 months, there was still a very good expansion. So I didn't expect that, to be honest. And this is really good, but still we need to grow. And I think we can grow if professional joins us to do more contents, and also if investors go there and learn how to act as a professional on the financial markets. And this is really important, because I basically created free finance for Italy. And in Italy, there is a lack of education in the financial markets. So basically you go to a bank and there might be one financial advisor or even not, and they sell you some products and you don't know what's inside, you don't know what the risk is. So I think it's really important for people to understand which is the value of their investment, how to invest, what to look at. And in order to do it, they have to be educated. And I think it's really important to be educated on the financial markets, because actually I would make an example. So if I'm buying shoes, I will go online, check for all the website, and see where the shoes are less expensive, or if the price of the shoe is correct. But if I'm investing my saving, it's even more important to understand what I'm doing. It's not about shoes, because a pair of shoes costs 100 euros, whatever, and that's okay. If we lost 100 euros in our whole life, it's okay. But if we lost all our savings, this is crazy. So we really need to be educated on how to invest in financial markets, and I think everyone should be educated. And I think what would be really important is to teach also to young people how to invest, because it will be even more difficult in the following years. So after, let's say, a second correction that will come, it might be difficult also for people who doesn't have saving to invest once again in the markets. So of course, I would like that free finance has an expansion and remains as it is, so completely independent with no advertisement, which makes the expansion even more difficult as always. But I think with the quality of the content is the real driver of the expansion. So sure, I think it will expand.
Well, Francesca, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And this was really, really a very insightful and interesting conversation. And I'm so inspired every single time to see young women like you who represent the new generation of female leaders who are changing the world for the better.
Thank you very much, Anna, and thank to everybody who did the questions. They were great. So it was a great conversation with all of you, and everyone who really wants to have even more questions, I'm available always.
Exactly. I also want to say thank you to everyone who tuned in, whether you are watching us live now or catching up with the replays, which we still are holding on website and on YouTube. I hope that you found this session as inspiring and insightful as I did. All Generation Change session recordings are available to view at your complete convenience on our website, generationfemale.net. And you can also sign up to join our community mail list via our website so that you can get notified of all our events and activities. So we are Generation Female, and